As the Imperial War enters its final stages, new kings will be crowned, empires will rise and fall, and the status quo of the Marvel Cosmic Universe will be forever changed. What will happen next? Well, let's hop into the pages of Imperial number 4, the grand finale to this series, and find what happens next together, shall we? So then, as we open up with this issue, all roads lead back to Fulcrum Station, and I mean, isn't it a little poetic? The fulcrum, the axis on which the entire universe spins? All of the different armies, minus the Shi'ar, whose Queen Xandra was deposed in one of the tie-ins, are all vying for control. The Skrulls are running amok looking for revenge for old slights, and in the middle of it all we have the Inhumans, who puppeteered this conflict from the shadows only to swoop on in to try and play hero. And you know what? As far as the Joe Schmoes in the universe are concerned, this plan is actually working. The only ones who know the truth are Nova, Starlord, and Shuri. They hope if they can rush back to the Fulcrum in time, they can broadcast the truth to everyone involved and maybe end up cutting some of this bloodshed short. Which of course is a lot easier said than done. The incurring battle with the Skrulls and their forces have left Fulcrum incredibly damaged, meaning that even just docking is going to be an insurmountable task in and of itself. And then once the good guys actually get aboard the ship, the question then becomes, who actually are the good guys in this situation? Hell, some people even have a hard time believing that the Inhumans, after being down and out for so long, could ever even engineer a plot this multi-layered. Shuri believes it, and with actually some pretty good reason. She says that her brother and Black Bolt were both part of Earth's Illuminati, manipulating an entire world behind the scenes. Is getting an entire galaxy to fight one another really that much of a leap? You also might be thinking to yourself, well, if Kl'rt the Super Skrull gets told that he's been had and Ferengi hasn't actually returned, is that going to affect his motives? Actually, no. In fact, if you read the Super Guardians tie-in, then you know he already is well aware that Vronki's return was actually a false flag started by a Shi'ar hobgoblin. He just doesn't care because any reason to holy war is a good reason. As far as he's concerned, you also might be wondering too, hey, what happened to Hulkling and Wiccan? They've been MIA for a little bit. Well, thankfully their call to the new Avengers ended up paying off, as the young couple end up getting saved by America Chavez, not quickly enough to actually end up having impact on the battle that is currently taking place, but hey, they're saved. And if you want to know more, be sure to pick up that brand new Wiccan book coming soon. For my money though, the real main attraction of this big finale issue is a drop-down, drag-out fight between the Super Skrull and Ronan the Accuser. Again, remember, these guys have been forced to be chummy with each other ever since the foundation of the brand new Kree-Skrull Empire, and now all that anger and animosity has finally boiled over. It's a really awesome fight with standouts being Kl'rt wielding 2 Accuser hammers at once, but it's actually the subtext of the fight that actually makes the whole thing a little bit tragic, as both combatants really end up highlighting the absolute impossibility of the Kree and Skrull working together for very long. Hey, were you always gonna turn on us one day? Yeah, forever changing is kind of core to the Skrull beliefs, and hey, were you ever going to accept me as an equal? No, I hated you with every fiber of my Kree heart. I say this is the high point of the story because honestly, the latter half of the book kinda sorta just peters out. Our trio made up of Nova, Starlord, and Shuri try and fight their way to the top of the station, while a vengeful Hulk, Black Panther, and Black Adam end up taking the fight directly to Super Skrull, and even though he was able to pretty handily beat Ronan, he ends up getting royally trounced by the other 3 and taking the L like the fall guy that he is. Okay, I know what you're thinking though, our 3 musketeers know the truth, right? They tell it to the others and that ends up making a difference. Only no it doesn't. This is a story about space politics, mind you. And in space politics, much like real politics, sometimes the truth is secondary to how everything ends up shaking out. The truth is written by the winners, and the Inhumans definitely helped win the day on this one. The vote for the new Galactic Union ends up going ahead as planned, and it is ultimately voted in. Maximus the Mad and Black Bolt actually wanted this, by the way. And it makes sense with the Skrulls returning to their old villainous ways and the Shi'ar returning to their old isolationist ways under their brand new Emperor Electron. The new Union couldn't exactly be picky about who they brought into the fold. Likewise, Black Panther ends up shocking everyone by deciding that he too is going to stay quiet about the truth. If only because the Space Wakandan Empire is actually in a way better position now than it was when the war started. There's going to be a lot of repairs and they're going to need a lot of vibranium to get it done. Shuri ends up shocking both Nova and Starlord by how quickly she falls in line behind younger brother. And while Nova, always a sentinel of justice, wants to reveal the truth, he ultimately ends up getting shut down by Starlord, who, remember, is now the de facto king of Spartax. And by extension, the new president king of the newly formed Union. Yeah, this pisses off Richard Rider to no end, as this basically blows up their entire friendship right here. Don't worry though, there's plenty of fallout to be had now that the Inhumans have regained their place on the cosmic scene with plans to retake Hala. The matter becomes, what the hell are they going to do with Maximus the Mad? You see, Max thought for all of his hard work his brother would reinstall him as the royal family spy master, but Boltagon wants him gone, and gone now, and I mean, can you really blame him? The funniest part is that Maximus the Mad isn't even hurt by this turn of events. If anything, he's actually kind of proud about how duplicitous and backstabbing his upright brother has become. And hey, this newest betrayal has given Maximus the best excuse in the world to go back to being a villain, something he always enjoyed doing anyway. Later on, we see a meeting between T'Challa and Shuri, wherein Black Panther says to make this brand new Wakandan space empire work, he's going to need to take the reins like never before. After all, where did bureaucracy get them in this last war? Yes, that's right, Black Panther will be a king once again, and a space king no less. Now, as the comic comes to a close, Peter ends up seeing off the coffin of his father, Jason. He says that despite it all, his dream has come to fruition, a united Union. It's just a shame everything they lost, all the lies they had to tell, and all the destruction that was wrought in order to make it happen. Worse still, it seems like things are only starting to heat up. Out there in the universe, there are rumors of a Messiah Kree from another universe where the Empire is more powerful than it's ever been. There is also one word on the lips of everyone these days, and that word is Vel, a word, of course, with two meanings. Are they talking about Mar-Vel or Phyla-Vel? Either way, it looks like King Starlord is going to have his work cut out for him in this brand new job. Hey, no one tell Peter that Gamora actually got killed by Maximus to keep this dark secret too. I feel like if he knows that, he's probably gonna be mad. And so that was Imperial issue number 4, and as far as finale goes, this one was alright. Maybe not everything I was hoping for it to be, but still a pretty good read. My biggest problem with this story is something that was probably always going to be the case, and that is the fact that the ending of this story is really kind of a non-ending, as this whole 4-part story exists to set up a new cosmic status quo and launch like 5 new books, and it certainly does its job, that's for sure. I would just be lying if I said I didn't want a little bit more from this finale. And yeah, I guess if I want to see where a lot of these stories and characters end up going after this, there will be plenty of new books for me to read. But as it stands right now, Imperial as a story in and of itself feels just a little bit unfinished. Overall though, I would give this one a 7 out of 10, certainly worth your time if you're a fan of Marvel Cosmic, and if you're looking to pick up any of the new books spinning out of the pages of this, then it's certainly a must read. Hey there everyone, it's your pal Cape Joel again, and if you're seeing my face right now, that means you watched to the end of the video, and I'll always be grateful for that. Retention helps in this crazy YouTube game, and so does becoming a patron. If you head on down to the description, you can find a link to my Patreon page. Recently just redid all the tiers, a lot of cool stuff offering up there, exclusive commentaries, exclusive polls, behind the scenes concept art for Capes and Quest. That's the brand new D&D show I've started soon. Never been a better time to become a patron. You can become a patron for as little as $1 a month and help the channel grow, and help me continue to deliver content like what you just saw. So I want to thank you all, and I will see you again next time. Bye bye.